Some pretty good updates today. Let's go ahead and just jump right into it. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with Tech Solutions. Really hope that you learned something new. And if you do, please consider dropping a thumbs up and subscribing if you feel like we earned it. So, HIMS, boy, no question. I mean, you should have seen my face literally. My LPP team can tell you in today's live trading session when I realized that HIMS was down 30%. I think at that time it was down 28%. But for those that did not hear the news, there's a partnership that HIMS had with Novo Nordisk, and they discontinued their partnership. So because of this, we saw a huge gap down, a lot of selling pressure. Overall, like, could you have predicted this partnership to have been broken? No. I don't believe so. I would say that there's there's luck when it comes down to this. But if you look at the price point that it was trading at based off previous highs, there's a reason we're talking about shorting HIMS. There's a handful of our LPP traders that made 20 to 30% and are still holding this short position as they still see potential for more downside. I think it's incredibly oversold, and I think that it could have a dead cat bounce and begin to recover. Nonetheless, it was an incredibly overvalued, right? We literally just talked about this one yesterday and on Friday. I mean, I was shorting this thing all last week, but like many of you guys know, I don't like to carry short positions over the weekend. This weekend, I did carry a short position. It was on coin, and I locked in profits on my short position yesterday overnight, but it was only 540 shares, which is a fraction of what I was shorting with, which was 2,000 shares. Unfortunately, I did lock in profits yesterday. Again, if you watched my video yesterday, you saw that I made $5,000 shorting coin over the weekend, and I was able to close it yesterday on Sunday as soon as overnight hours opened on Robinhood. But I've made $2,200 so far just scalping the lows and the highs. So I've reduced my position on HIMS, leaving myself with my one lucky share. I just think it's too oversold to want to continue to short it, but just wanted you to be aware, why is HIMS selling off? The partnership that it had is no longer there, so therefore now it overreacts and it drops on the downside. You can't be surprised. These are bullshit companies that are incredibly overhyped up. Anytime a company runs 100, 200, 300% in a very short period of time, that should be enough of a red flag. If you buy in at those levels and you think that that's a good idea, then again, that's the position that you're choosing to put yourself in, so you can't be surprised by pullbacks. I mean, this pullback is kind of a surprise because it's 30%, but it's a great reminder on why you should never be afraid to take profits at overbought levels, because again, HIMS simply never belonged there. So hopefully we can see the hype end up fading and end up dropping. But other than that, the only other one that I kind of wanted to bring to your attention is Tesla. Tesla for the individual companies. For those that do not know, Tesla jumps up 10% as the robo-taxi launch generates more positive reviews. I'm not here to pretend like the robo-taxi launch isn't good news. It is, but Tesla's been promising the robo-taxi launch for the past 10 years. It's finally here. I thought it was already priced in. But again, Tesla's an incredibly hyped up stock. I don't think it's a good deal. Just like I said, at 340, I don't think it's a good deal at 350. I just opened a short position on it. It's just a small short position so far. It's 774 shares, about $273,000 shorting Tesla. I literally just opened it. I announced it to my LPP team. Remember, my LPP team gets all my trade updates. I want to show you my average purchase price so you guys can see it. Average purchase price, 353.64. So literally, just opened it, right? It became overbought. It began to consolidate. I love shorting overbought reversals. I think it's an overhyped up company, especially with the current news that's going on. I do think that Tesla has the condition and the environment, because of all the hype and all the good news that's being shared today with the increased price targets, that Tesla can hold itself at these levels. But I believe markets are overbought. They're pushing up for no reason, and they're bound to retrace into the close. 100% just my opinion. They do not have to do that. But I believe that if markets do begin to sell off into the close, that Tesla will also retrace and the hype will end up fading, because again, we all know Tesla fundamentally does not belong at the levels that it's trading at right now. It's incredibly overhyped up, incredibly overvalued, and Tesla as a company is not growing year over year. Their sales are down, their revenues are down, their net profits are down. Again, Tesla is not doing good fundamentally, but right now, market doesn't care about that. Market doesn't care about anything fundamentally. It's just irrational, more hype, driving markets up higher. So now that we talked about those two companies, the thing that I wanted to highlight was why we've seen such a shift with crude oil, right? This is the big concern for a lot of people. Closing the Strait of Hormuz. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but nonetheless, this is pretty much the only leverage that Iran has. So Iran's parliament officially approves closing the Strait of Hormuz for the first time since 1972. For those that do not know, if approved, or it was approved by Iran's top security body, shipments of 20 plus million barrels of oil per day will be impacted. Now, that's the crazy thing. 20 million barrels of oil per day will be impacted. So the part that is laughable about this is that now Trump is responding. It wasn't even this, it was this one. Says Trump this morning is saying, everyone, keep oil prices down. I'm watching. You're paying, you're playing right into the hands of the enemy. Don't do it. This is just insane to me. Like, what do you mean don't do it? You can't move or adjust demand shifts, right? It's like slapping a dog, a little chihuahua, because that's, I want to say in comparison, obviously Iran is a smaller country, but the only leverage that Iran has is this strait. So why wouldn't they do this to negatively impact the US? Like, that's their only leverage, right? We attacked their nuclear sites. So now there's Trump is saying, no. I mean, now there's repercussions to what we did. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not here to say I agree or disagree with the attack of removing Iran from enrichment sites, right? That's your own personal bias if you agree or disagree. I'm not here to, talk about that. I'm here to simply say that, yeah, I mean, actions have consequences, and this is a consequence of it. This is literally the only leverage they have. I mean, Iran is technically a much weaker country in comparison to the US. This is probably one of the few things that they can do to negatively impact us and the rest of the world. So why wouldn't they leverage it? I mean, it's kind of like common sense. But now for him to say, you're playing into the game of the enemy. Everyone, keep oil prices down. I'm watching you. It's like, dude, you can't be that dumb, right? And then this is the only thing that, my concern is the retaliation, because that's one thing that I want to talk about in just a little bit. But Trump response to Russia's, I don't know his last name, saying countries are ready to supply Iran with nukes. Trump says, did he really just say that? Or is it just a figment of my imagination? Trump also says the N-word should not be treated so casually. N-word meaning nuclear. So this is the former president of Russia saying that they would be willing to supply nuclear weapons or warheads to Iran. Now, that is my biggest concern. Now, I can't speak for you guys, but from all of this is supposedly every news outlet right now is talking about Israel and Iran are looking to settle things and to stop the war. But it doesn't sound like it, right? And with the responses from other countries that Iran is allies with, that is my biggest concern of what if they do supply Iran with nukes? What does that look like for the US? How does Iran retaliate? Are they just going to retaliate and hit specific military bases that are of the US? Markets should probably react in a negative way, something that we're still waiting for. We're still waiting for if they're going to retaliate, right, in any way. And what do you think is going to happen if they do retaliate, right? Do you think that markets are going to drop? Or do you believe that Iran is just not going to do anything? They got their 3 nuclear sites bombed and attacked in front of the world. They've made it very clear that they're not here to surrender. Do you think that they're not going to respond at all? I really hope they don't go for civilians, right? That would be, I would say, very naive or very risky for them. But they attacked our nuke sites, so are they going to attack our, U.S. bases that are close to the Middle East? Something to take into consideration, right? We still don't know. It's a developing story, but I just wanted to make sure that you were aware, because those are the different moving parts. Why are the markets recovering? All based off of hope that things do begin to settle. Have some common sense. Can you or will you be surprised if they retaliate? I personally don't think I would be very surprised. My prayers are out to all the members out there who actively serve. Your sacrifice is something that I could never imagine myself doing. So I'm not here to pretend like I understand the risk or the fear that comes with serving in this country. And I hate to see anyone be put in that position. Nonetheless, we attacked, we bombed those sites, those nuclear sites. Now we wait to see if they retaliate and how they retaliate. And remember, during uncertainty, and if they do retaliate, markets are bound to drop. I believe, and 100% my opinion, I'm not here to convince you. If you want to buy at these levels because you think it's incredibly cheap and you think markets are going to go to new highs, buy. I promise you I will not get offended. But I think markets are incredibly overbought. They're overvalued. They're testing previous highs, and there's huge retracement potential. I think things are very uncertain. Oil prices are going up, and if oil prices continue to hold at these levels, it will get passed down to the consumer, which will get reported in our CPI reports, which means that inflation will begin to go up. And remember, the Federal Reserve wants inflation to go down so they can start cutting rates, not up. So a handful of different reasons of uncertainty. So if markets continue to hold at these levels, just think about it. What's the risk or the downside risk for the potential reward? This is why I'm so okay with, I would rather stay cash here and then just wait for the confirmation of markets dropping to enter short so then we can make money as markets drop. But shorting is not for everyone. So I don't want to pretend like for beginners that that's the way to make money. It's definitely not for beginners. If you're a beginner that's just getting into investing or trading, I personally don't think markets are cheap at these levels like Tesla. I think it's incredibly overbought. I would rather wait for negative news, markets to drop, and then buy in when there's actual deals. That's the way that I would play it. But again, that's in a perfect world. So very excited to keep you guys up to date. Just want to make sure that I did my part in making you aware of what happened with HIMS today, what happened with Tesla, two of the biggest either winner or gainer, loser or gainer today. And then also a quick little market update on the tensions between Iran and Israel and the US and what's going on with this trade. So excited to keep you guys up to date. Don't forget, if you guys want to watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow, I trade live every single morning, every entry, every exit, especially if you're a complete beginner and you learn best by watching other people do. I do believe that you'll learn a lot by these live trading sessions, and it's every single day right at market open for about 1 hour. And yes, it's the second link in the description down below. I appreciate your time. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.